Nothing like a cup of tea and a friend to stop by. Oh, it's good to see you. I was just enjoying my tea with a frog today. Sometimes I have cats, and today I have a frog. Oh, I like frogs. I mean, I don't, kiss them or anything, but I do like them. There's this really great story. Well, there are a few great stories about frogs, but have you heard the one about the Frog Prince? I bet you'd like to hear the story about the Frog Prince, wouldn't you? It's a pretty good story. Well, you know how it starts. You want to do it with me? Here we go. Once upon a time, there was a frog. Yeah, just like you. And that frog lived in a deep well belonging to a castle. And in the castle lived, well, a lot of people. A lot of workers, a lot of people who cooked the food and cleaned the place, and then the royal family too. The king and the queen and their daughter, the princess, who, I am sorry to say, was not a very nice person. You see, she had been raised by herself, and none of the servants' children lived there with them, none of the cooks or the cleaners, and so she pretty much got whatever she wanted, whenever she wanted. And so that's what she got used to. She was what my granny used to call spoiled rotten. And even if there had been any other children there, I'm afraid they wouldn't have wanted to play with her. But she got used to playing by herself. So she was out one day in the royal yard, and she was bouncing her golden ball. See, that's the other thing. I mean, who wants a golden ball? I'm sure it couldn't have bounced as nicely as like a red rubber ball. But anyway, she had to have a golden ball, father. So she had her golden ball, and she was bouncing it. And she bounced it too high, and it landed in the well. Well, the princess was heartbroken. She didn't even know what to do. I mean, nothing ever went wrong in her life. So she sat down next to the well and began to cry. Well, the frog heard her crying, and he was a nice frog. So the frog hopped up bloop, 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 and sat next to her by the well. And he said, "Oh, princess, princess, what makes you weep?" And she looked around to see who was talking to her. She didn't see anybody. "Oh, princess, princess, I'm down here." And she looked down and saw a frog. "Ew," she said. "Ah, you are so disgusting. Get away from me. Get out of my face." "But what is the matter? Maybe I can help you." You? A disgusting, slimy frog help me? I don't think so. My ball went down in the well. That's what I'm crying about, if you must know." Well, the frog said, "But I could hop down in the well and get your ball for you, if you would like." The princess suddenly dried up her tears. "Oh," she said, "well, that would be really nice. Thank you, frog." "But you must do something for me." "Oh," she said, "well, sure. My daddy's the king. I can, do whatever." "Okay. If you will fulfill your promise, I will get your golden ball." And they agreed. So down he hopped, and he brought the ball up in his big froggy mouth, and patooey, he spit it at her feet. Well, she was so excited she forgot to be disgusted. She picked up the ball and she ran back to the castle. And the frog said, "But princess, your promise." She was long gone, and didn't hear him and had forgotten him already, to be honest. Well, the frog began to hop to the castle. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to just pretend he already got there, otherwise we're going to be here for hours. I mean, he was a big frog, but that was still a long way, and, Anyway, he finally got there. They were having supper. So he knocked on the door, and the princess suddenly remembered the frog. She pretended that she didn't hear it, and she just began to eat faster. Her father, the king, said, "Daughter, it looks as though maybe you know something about this knock at the door. Why don't you go answer it?" She said. Her father said, "Daughter, put down your fork and go answer the door." So she did. She opened the door and looked down, and there it was, just as she feared. A smiling, slimy frog who hopped right in the door. "Princess, princess, you forgot your promise to me." "Shh," she said. But her father, the king, had heard. "Daughter, what promise did you make this frog?" Father, I don't know. I didn't really promise him anything. I just said I would do something for him. So, like, tomorrow I'll go find him and I'll do something for him." And the frog said, "But, princess, that is not what I want. I want to eat with you and sleep in your royal bed." "Like a grody?" "No, I don't think so, frog." "I'll come and bring you something tomorrow. Now get out of here." But the king said, "Daughter, if you promised this frog, then you must fulfill that promise. Bring him to the table." "But, Daddy..." "Daughter, I have spoiled you all your life. You have made a promise, and you will learn to keep a promise. Now bring that frog to the table." So the princess picked the frog up by 2 fingers and brought him to the table and sat him down. But she did not eat another bite. She couldn't. The frog did, though. He had a very nice meal. And then the king and the queen said goodnight to the princess and the frog, and her father reminded her to do what she'd promised, and so she picked him up with 2 fingers and she took him over to the stairs and hauled him up the stairs and to her room. And then the frog said, "Now please put me on the bed. I am tired and I must sleep." And the princess said, "I don't care what my father says. You are not sleeping in my beautiful bed. I am not going to have frog slime all over my sheets. No, thank you very much." "But you promised. I will go tell your father." At that, she was so furious that she picked the frog up in both hands and squeezed him. She was going to throw him against the wall, but as she squeezed him to her, he began to tremble, and a light filled the room, and he swirled around in the air, and this like weird music played from somewhere, and the next thing you knew, poof! He was a prince, a good-looking prince. And the princess said, Oh my, but where did you come from?" And the prince said, "You be the prince, okay?" "A witch cast a spell on me that I would stay a frog until a beautiful princess hugged me to her. You have broken the spell. Thank you very much." So the princess was very excited. She said, "Oh, well, now that you're not a slimy frog, we can, get married." "Oh," said the prince. "Oh, I am grateful for your help, but I am afraid that you are only beautiful on the outside." Ooh, Sorry for the misunderstanding, but no, I won't be asking you to marry me. And the prince left, and he lived happily ever after. Oh, I can't say they all lived happily ever after. I mean, but the princess, things did get better for her. I mean, she'd had her first big disappointment in life. And once you learn to handle disappointments, well, you get to be a stronger person on the inside and a better looking one on the inside. And that did happen to the princess. And she spent many years hugging and kissing frogs that she found, hoping one of them would turn into a prince and she'd get another chance. But all that happened was she got kind of slimy lips and she startled a lot of frogs. But she did grow to be a kinder person, and she became a good ruler one day. So, yeah. Snip, snap, snout. My tail's told out. Oh, can you imagine kissing a frog? I mean, I love frogs, but... All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Granny's going to finish up her tea and go to bed. And I think it's time for you to go home and hit the sack. If you sleep with a frog, don't roll over on it, okay? Good night. Sleep tight. I'll see you next time. Granny Annie loves you. Now go home.